Bay Area, it's Brandon Pajemski. You're listening to The Morning Roast with Bonta Hill and Joe Shasky on 95.7 The Game. You better hit those brakes, Bonta.
Trying to. We never hit the brakes here on this show, man. We don't hit the brakes. All gas, no brakes, Mullin. You got it. We got Chris Mullin, the Hall of Famer, in studio. You see him later on television tonight on NBC Sports Bay Area as we get ready for the Warriors and the Cavaliers. Cavaliers 9-0. Best start in franchise history. Warriors rolling right now on the road. 5-0 and 7-1 overall after a very impressive win over the Boston Celtics Wednesday night. Stop number 4 this 5-game road trip. And the next 4 games is going to be a lot of fun with the Cavaliers, the Thunder, and then, of course, the return of Klay Thompson Tuesday night in Mully's favorite in-season tournament, the Emirates Cup. I don't know.
I heard a little bit on the way in.
You heard it. Hanging banners.
But here's my
He's
thought,
going to be
Mullin.
bragging about hanging banners.
No. No one's saying it's the end-all, be-all. I'm not depleting all resources to win really what is essentially kind of an exhibition. But that being said, if you play the game, you might as well try to win it.
Well, no question. We just talked about not who you're playing, how you're playing.
Exactly.
Right? And those games do count in the regular season, and that they're not, exhibitions. They count for the regular season, so it could mean home court or better seed. So that's true. And it's been an incredible marketing job by the league.
Yep.
That's what it is. So it's pretty much a regular season game, dressed up, and they made a lot more money. So it's smart. It's smart.
What do you
But
think of
that's
the
what it
courts? The color on the courts. It's a little much.
Part of it. You can call it a gimmick. You can call it.
It is a gimmick.
The MTV celebrity basketball, whatever it is. That's the look it has, but it lets you know it's something different.
Yeah, that's true.
It's something different. It's packaged differently. Obviously, they got some new sponsor. Was it the Emirates Cup?
Emirates Cup, yep.
They got some cash over there.
Got some new money.
Got some cash over there. So it's a smart marketing move. The players are happy. Management's happy. All the TV.
They're loving it.
Content, right? So everyone's happy.
I just wonder if LeBron James, the great LeBron James, will sit back one day 5 years from now. I got the 4 championships. I got the in-season tournament banner. I got that ring. Like, did they give out rings for that?
It's part of the Wikipedia bio. That's all. That's all.
Don't go there. But I would think in a season where if you win that Emirates Cup with the championship, then you go, that catapulted us or let us know, gave us confidence that didn't materialize yet.
Yes.
That may happen. But again, how you're playing, who you're playing, and where you're playing.
Maybe for the Pacers, who made the championship game, they had a good little playoff run going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe for them, it was galvanizing for a young team. It feels like a young team type of tournament to where you could really make a statement out there and put your name on the map here. But we're talking about Buddy Hield, and we had Q on yesterday, assistant coach of the Warriors, Bruce Frazier. Here's what he had to say about Buddy Hield's impact on the team.
He loves the game. He puts a lot of work into it. He shoots more than anyone on our team, including Steph, in practice sessions and at night. So he's getting volume and crazy volume. So the game matters. And that's the one thing that popped out to me right away was like, this guy's loves this game, loves the craft, and he puts time in, but he loves doing it. So it's not like work for him. And then he brings a light to the locker room with his spirit. That combination and the way he runs, I think that's another thing that now popped out is he moves. He's moving almost similar to Steph. So he's doing all this really good stuff for us. And I think the environment and the way we play fits him perfectly. He's been an incredible addition and really given us some punch off the bench with his scoring.
He started that call by saying, he didn't know what to think of Buddy Hield from afar. He didn't know about him in the movement skills and the shooting and the quick release or whatnot, but they're all impressed so far, Bully.
Yeah, and look, we've noted this several times, Bonte, on our pregame show with NBC Sports Bay Area. Over the last 5 seasons, he's made the most threes in the NBA at a 40% clip. So making shots, this is what the guy does, and it's because of his hard work, his dedication, his discipline. Any shooter, they've got the proper routine, meaning, the form, the backspin, all those things that are important to being a good shooter. They have the proper amount and appropriate amount of repetition, and then it becomes muscle memory. That's anything you want to excel at. That's the key ingredients. Obviously, Buddy Hield does that. He's 31 years old. He's in the prime years of his athletic career. He takes great care of himself. And as Steve Kerr has mentioned, not just about Buddy Hield, but the entire team, a big emphasis has been sprinting on offense and defense. In turn, not only because they're playing small, that's what you have to do is impose your will on the style of play and pace of play, but also he's going to go deep. So if you're not, I'm going to ask you to play a few less minutes, give me 100% on both sides of the ball. Buddy Hield has done that. In turn, I like with this team what Steve's done, not only with the depth, every player is asked to play to their strengths almost exclusively. Almost exclusively. Now, there's going to be some matchups and things that are not favorable, but Buddy Hield, what's the best thing he does? Run and shoot. So do that. When you emphasize that, in turn, we've seen a night where he got 6 or 7 assists, throwing lobs to people. Mm-hmm. We've seen him getting in the lane for steals. Made a huge shot the other night in Boston. That was basically the dagger when Steph drove the lane and drawing kick. Up and down that roster. It's really rare to see this early in the season roles incredibly well defined, guys starring in those roles, and then on a given night, almost every night, 12 or 13 guys stepping on the floor, and when the game's over, you go, they all played pretty well.
Yeah.
No one really had an off night. That's really rare. So this has been an incredible start. Pleasantly surprised the Warriors are. But I think Steve, he was talking about this in Hawaii. I think at first everyone's like, this guy's kind of just saying stuff. Because a lot of times your thought process is, if you have 13, you don't have 8.
It's like having two quarterbacks.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, if you have 2 or 3, you don't have 1. But the difference here is I give Mike Dunleavy a lot of credit. The selection of talents, the free agents that he selected, not only do the talent fit and the style of play fits their talents, seems like the personalities fit. And that's important. That takes chemistry to another level. You can always plug in the right talent. You never really know how it's going to mesh in a locker room. I think basketball more so than, I wouldn't say more so, but it's a smaller locker room. So those personalities, if you can get the ages correct, so remember we talked 2 timelines, having the age of the older guys, the proper balance of age, experience, and then the combination of personalities complement each other as well. Seems like they've got it all together now.
Back to shooting, because you're talking about he runs really well. I didn't know Buddy could run this well. Because when you talk about shooting, there are many different kinds of great shooters. Some guys have to have the ball at their hand. They want to be at the top of the key. Some guys are great catch and shoot guys. Some guys like coming off of pin downs, coming off of whatever, right? His movement without the ball, I underrated. I just didn't know. And I think his IQ of knowing where the soft spots are in relation to playing with Curry and some of these other guys, I just kind of underrated his IQ in the half court and his ability to get that shot off quickly with guys coming in and chasing on him. I think he's a perfect fit.
Well, to me, Shasky, that's style of play. Because you think about the other places, maybe Indiana was more of an up and down team, but a lot of teams, they use those 3-point shooters as stationary spot guys.
Exactly.
Steve Kerr doesn't do that. Steve Kerr likes ball movement, body movement, working off screens. So in turn, that's why I said, yes, he's emphasizing running the floor and shooting threes. But the other night, he had a nice curl cut.
Yep.
You've seen him getting some pull-up twos, but that's because of the system.
Yeah.
He's not just standing in that corner, and when they help off, we'll throw you the ball.
The Bruce Bowen.
No one likes doing that.
No.
Who grows up? I used to tell people, I've never practiced shooting standing still, ever. Why would you do that?
Exactly.
So I give as much credit to Buddy Hield as I do the style of play here with Steve Kerr and the Warriors.
I keep asking Shasky. I'm befuddled as we got our boy. We're not talking defense yet, Festy. It's not your time yet.
I was down the street. I heard y'all talking. I was like, I got to pull up. Oh, here you go.
There we got Festy fell in the building. Festus Ezeli, NBA champion Festus Ezeli. Give him a round of applause.
Are those the meta?
He hasn't been up this early in years.
Appropriately, we're on opposite sides of the studio.
Offense, defense.
Yeah, offense, defense. Yeah.
Mullin was so good. He was feeling so good. He was talking defense. I was like, dude, we got to check his temperature, man. He talked more defense the other night on the postgame show.
When you play defense, I give you credit.
Yes. There you go. But
Tangible.
I keep asking Shasky this week, how did it feel in Indiana and Philadelphia?
Incredible.
When Buddy Hield could shoot like this, you're thinking, boy, Embiid's right there drawing double teams. You have Tyrese Maxey. And they didn't even play Buddy in the playoffs. They played him for that one quarter where he went crazy. And Indiana plays up and down, the number one pace in the league, and they trade him. Like, we're trying to figure out what didn't those teams like about Buddy.
Yeah, I think I'll get back to style of play as the number one factor, but then who he's playing with. The biggest improvement on this roster from last year, this year, has been perimeter defense, ability to contain the basketball. Mm-hmm. So when you do that, you're in better position. And if you're not a great one-on-one defender, if you're not getting broken down off the dribble, you can be more of a position defender and not stick out. So keeping yourself on the floor to let long enough to make those threes. A lot of times what would happen if defenses break down, and you get scored on 3 times in a row, they're going to make a sub and put a defender in. That hasn't happened yet this year. The Warriors are 7-1. I haven't seen a game where they've got, blown by consistently, and they're chasing the ball. They're keeping the ball in front of them, which sounds like the most fundamental thing in the world.
No, but it's true.
No, but nowadays it's harder than ever.
I agree.
They're so spread out.
I'm really curious about this, Mully. This is for Buddy Hield, too. What you see from him is the ball moving. He gets great shots. But Philly, you're standing around the perimeter just waiting for this guy to go one-on-one, and then you get the ball. Is that different for a shooter? Is that different?
Of course it is.
Yeah,
I just before you walked in, Fez, I was saying I never, ever once practiced standing still, ever. Everything I did was always off the move. And then in the game, you think about it, and you're a great defender, and you're the backline defense. What you want everyone in front of you and see them. So if you're in the corner as a spot shooter, and I'm on the box now as a help, and I look you there, the whole shot clock, you're there. I didn't do anything but rest and make sure you don't get a back cut.
So true.
So I get back to style of play, the movement. We talked about Steph earlier, the great Steph Curry. What sets him apart on the court is he's as dangerous and effective with and without the basketball. And probably more without, because without the basketball, he's opening up so many opportunities for his teammates with cutting, spacing, back screening, curling. All those things makes the defense react. So when it drives me crazy. And we did it when I was at the Pacers, we started doing that, just planting 2 corner shooters. Basically, you're putting the team in a zone.
To your point, Festus.
You go boxes and elbows, and for defense, that's what we just talked about. The Warriors, the biggest, they're keeping the ball in front of them. So when the offense does it for you, and you're not moving, you're not getting as bad a shot. So I'd say with Embiid, I'm not saying why I didn't watch.
Yeah, we didn't watch enough.
I just think get back to the style of play here fits him much better, and he's doing enough defensively to not get taken off the court.
Well, those Rockets teams were so guardable playing that style where it's pick and roll, predictability. And that was Boston. We saw that with Boston the other night.
I mean, especially in the playoffs, that's so hard. But going back to Buddy Hield, like playing in this style has been great for him. If you go to Philly, I mean, that's a style where he just had to stand in the corner and shoot the ball whenever Joel Embiid didn't get a match, or whenever he got double teamed. If you talk about Indiana, this is where politics comes into play. I felt like Indy just didn't want to play him. They didn't want to pay him. And so they have to play these young pieces, and they move Buddy. But Buddy has been a shooter. We talked about this. He has led the league the last 5 years in the three-point attempts and three-point makes. So with that being the case, this is not new. It's just that this style of offense is more exciting, and he gets to be more effective in other areas of the game, too. You see him putting the ball on the ground a couple of times. You see him making assists to players. These are things that you do whenever you feel like you're involved in the offense all the time.
We'll be talking to you Tuesday more about Klay Thompson when he make his return. But I want to talk some bigs. Klay Day's coming Tuesday. We'll give Klay some love before we leave. But the bigs, Draymond Green, Kevon Looney, Trace Jackson-Davis, it all seems connected right now. Draymond's playing some excellent basketball.
I mean, Day has come into the season locked in. You see him, the way we talk about him being the heart and soul, the defense, all these things. You need Draymond as a leader for this team because you need emotion. We were watching the New Orleans Pelicans game, and you watch the guys on the bench, and it's not no disrespect to anybody, but you need fire on your team. You need guys to talk to each other whenever you're in the timeout. But they were just sitting there not talking to each other. After a while, this is still game 8 in the season, so it's still early in the season. But by game 20, you don't want to hear your coach anymore. Like nobody wants to hear, coach. You heard him preseason. You heard dude. Nobody wants to hear from the coach anymore. It's about accountability from your teammates. And when you have a guy like Draymond who's outspoken, when he has his leadership on point like it is, man, his game is, he's able to really help this team. And that's one aspect. But obviously, offensively, he's been incredible.
Yep.
Shooting 50%.
But that's the big thing, though. I mean, Festus, like him just taking shots, like you saw it in the Boston game in the third quarter. They came closing out on him. He dribbled right by, threw the alley-oop to TJD, and that opens things up. Because at times last year, it got clunky 2 and 3 non-shooters and him unwilling. I live by the Nelly rule. A shot generated is a shot you got to take. And if you don't, you're going to settle for a crummier shot with lower time on the shot clock, and it's just more congested. Him taking shots, even when he's missing, opens up the offense and allows them to play combinations of GP2, of TJD for longer stretches, and they're getting away with it. And then it's opening up the floor game for the dribble buys and then the alleys, the kickouts, things like that. Like Draymond just shooting a little has opened up everything. He's been so good this year.
Draymond shot 39% from the three last season.
I know, but not enough shots, I guess, is where I was
part
at.
of it was he wasn't on the floor
That's true.
a lot
That's
of the
true.
time. So, like, just having the availability, I think, has been incredible for the team so far. I think this team just looks locked in. When we talk about chemistry, vibes, all those things come when everybody's on the same page. We've talked about Steph Curry being held accountable during the game. When you have your leader being held accountable by the coach, everybody just seems to be on the same page. I will say that over and over and over. And the importance of that is when you come into the game, it doesn't matter who plays. Like GP2 can come into the game and play 5 minutes and change the entire direction of the game. These are the reasons why the Warriors are firing right now.
You played on a championship team. You tried to assemble teams as a GM. Also, you played on a ton of great teams, right? But like, how difficult is it from the executive role to piece together the right team, not just talent-wise, chemistry-wise, fit-wise, personality-wise? Yeah. How hard is it to put that together from the executive role? Because I think we sleep on the job Dunleavy's done is really, I'm so impressed.
Yeah, Mike's done a great job. And all those things you mentioned, Shasky, what it is, there's a lot of moving parts, and you try and, make your best judgment on fit of talent, trying to balance the age of your roster, supporting the veteran players with mid-season veterans with some young athletic legs and length and athleticism. And I think what gets overlooked a lot in the NBA is the personalities. And that you can't always have everything figured out as far as background and everything, and you don't never really know how 12 are going to mesh. You can say, these three. But when it does, it adds a whole nother dimension to, like Fezzi was saying, the vibe. They call it chemistry, culture, whatever word you want to use. Then all of a sudden you got something. Because what you have then is confidence in each other and trust. And when you have that, then when you hit a tough time in a game, in a season, you rely on each other. And once you have that, then you truly have a team. Otherwise, the talent will take over at certain times. I think this team, what's so impressive is so early. They've made considerable amount of changes to the roster. So to have their roles defined, everyone feeling really confident and comfortable with that this early in the season. How many times we watch a game, and whether it's our guys in the last few years or another team, game 60, I'm trying to find my role.
Right.
I'm ramping up. Right?
We're finally finding our rhythm.
When are you going to find rhythm? It's going to be 4th of July barbecue. Come on. What are we doing here? But this team made considerable changes. Right. They're only 8 games in, and they look like they've got everything figured out.
That third quarter against Boston, they took a blow across the cheek, and they bounced right back.
Well, they were down 7, 95-88, and Steph Curry comes up with a big steal. I'm talking defense, Fez. He comes up with the big steal on Derek White, and it sparks a 16-3 run for the Warriors. So we've seen the 2 games. The Houston game was impressive because Draymond fouls out. Pods ends up fouling out after scoring 3 big baskets down the stretch. Steph's in street clothes. They went in overtime, relying on Jonathan Kuminga's athleticism and his ability to drive to the basket. Then the other night, you're down 7 in Boston. They're raining threes, and they were able to bounce back, and they dust off old man Lou Dog.
I mean, you know this, Mully. Like, the winning 20-point, 40-point wins, like, these are not character defining because anybody can feel good whenever they're having these blowouts. When you have those moments where your team lost momentum and you're able to gain it back, you see that against Houston Rockets. They lost momentum. They looked like they were running away with the game, up 20, up 30. And then all of a sudden the team comes back and it goes to overtime. What do you do in those moments? Jonathan Kuminga comes up big, scores 6 of 8 points in overtime. And then you go against the Boston Celtics away on the road. You're getting booed. The fans really into it. Derek White comes out into the game, hits the first 3 threes. The crowd's really into the game. What happens after that? Call a timeout, regroup, get back in the game. And so these are things that you see, and it's not just happening from the stars. You've seen it from the bench. Yep. Bench is coming in. Buddy Hield is hitting threes, running around, throwing assists. GP2's coming in, getting steals. Kyle Anderson came into the game last time, hit 3 threes.
He checked threes.
Listen, what's going on?
That gets back to Shasky, what you saying. On a given offensive possession, figuring out, is that the best shot our team's going to get? Kyle Anderson knocking. Those shots are going to be there every night.
Yep.
For Draymond, Kyle Anderson, Loon, GP2.
Yep.
He's getting a lot
Now,
of
you don't
back
have to
cuts.
take them all.
Yep.
But you cannot be reluctant to where that your defensive man is exclusively a help defender.
Mm-hmm.
So if the shot that's yielded is better than any shot that Steve Kerr can draw a player for, you need to take it and knock it down.
Let's
All
be
right,
talking the whole time here.
We
huh?
just be talking.
No commercial breaks.
No, we just had a commercial break. You came through the commercials. But let everybody know, man, you can tune in to Warriors Live today, presented
Here's
by
the commercial.
Xfinity. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity. Bring on the good stuff. And don't forget about the great celebrity pickleball bash coming All-Star Weekend, February 15th and 16th at the iconic Warfield Theater. My man Chris Miller's going to play. Make it Fezzy out
Fezzy
there.
gotta be there.
You need a sub?
Yeah,
you
need
get
Fezzy
Fezzy
right.
out there.
Are you going to be ready by then, buddy?
Your boy Hunter
You going to be
Pitts.
ready by then?
I will be, yeah.
Oh, I thought you needed a sub.
Why
I
we
got
happen
you.
every day.
Hey, Hunter Pitts is going to be out there. Your
For
boy,
real?
yeah, Terrell Owens.
Fezzy will be there.
Brunson,
Fezzy will be there.
Anthony
He don't
Anderson.
miss anything.
Yeah, iconic Warfield Theater. You don't miss anything. He didn't miss this. He was like, yo, I'm pulling up. Wait, I'm not pulling up.
I was
Wait,
having
I'm pulling up.
FOMO. I was having FOMO, man. I was coming from
We've been
across
listening
town.
to
I was like,
the
you know what? I see my guys talking offense, defense. I was like, they need somebody over here to talk defense. Come on.
Hey, we talk about podcast-itis. Fezzy's got the bug. Fezzy's got it.
Speaking of
radio-itis.
Mullin was on the podcast.
I
What are you
know.
talking about?
Kevin Mace.
Cameron, I want to know about this. What's up with Killer Cam? Did you have fun on that podcast?
That was a blast, dude.
Yeah?
Strictly spontaneous. I was in town for the Warriors exhibition game in Vegas. Me and my buddy Rich Calcaterra went out to dinner. We're walking back to our room. Mm-hmm. We see a nice Sirius XM studio. A bunch of people come running out. Yo, would you come on our show? I'm like, yeah, who are you? Yeah. But then I did know I knew who they were.
Yeah.
Cam and Mace, two Harlem guys, and yeah, so I had a blast. It was fun. And I think, if you test me, I probably do have podcast-itis.
You got it. He's got the bug.
What's crazy
Now
is
here I'm 8 a.m. I'm driving to a radio studio.
I would
not
drive to the station.
expected-
You don't get up until 10 o'clock.
Mullin,
No
you
peach
have
coffee?
Mace in your playlist? That's crazy. I would not expect
Oh, yeah,
that.
of course.
Come
Come
on,
on,
man.
man.
That's amazing.
Now, Comcast
yeah,
Business
that's
Text
so.
Line, they want to ask this, and I know the answer to it, but 424, Fezzy, they want to ask Mully, man, he's breaking down Warriors and NBA hoops. We think Mully should be an NBA coach ASAP. You don't want those problems, right, Mully?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Right now, the way my life is,
Well, you don't like
low
trouble.
maintenance,
Mm-hmm.
like one email a day. Phone rings, I maybe pick it up. When you have a real job, you can't do that. 11, 12 tea time,
God, I'm jealous.
good. Unless one of my really good friends is either running a team or, I'm at the point where I'm 61 now.
Mm-hmm.
It's who I work with. Like we talked about how you're playing on who you're playing.
Yeah.
It's the other way with
I like that.
spending your time. Who you're spending your time with.
I like
Would
that.
you coach Fezzy?
Well, that coach, nah, that's not in the stars for me right
Defensive
now. I got a
coordinator. Let's go.
Nah, I got a couple calls when I retired. Got a couple calls, but I wasn't in the stars.
Fezzy,
But some of those calls were out there in the East Coast by you,
Okay,
Mullin.
but if you do, don't let them label you a defensive coordinator because every rule favors the offense.
That's fair.
Just be a coach.
No,
Don't be a defensive coach.
But as we have- as
no matter
we have
what you do, people getting buckets.
As we have realized, though, defense can also lead the offense. So I could be both.
Oh, no question.
I could be
No
a defensive
no
coach
question.
that
You could have a good defensive night and give up 145.
This is just a preview of our pre- and post-game show behind the scenes. Offense, defense, offense.
That's why we're across the table. Y'all
Speaking of
separated
buckets,
us.
we're going to talk a lot about this next week. Tuesday's Klay Day, the return of Klay Thompson, four-time
Crazy.
chap, 3-point sharpshooter. He's playing well with the Dallas Mavericks. You played with Klay Thompson. You spent time with him in Africa over the summer. Feels like he's in a great headspace. We won't get into how he left or whether the team, all that stuff. But just to see him happy and getting buckets in Dallas, it's a good thing. He loves basketball again, apparently.
I mean, Klay Thompson, one of the questions I asked him is, what do you expect this season? He just said joy. Like, I just want to go back to having fun playing the game. And for Klay, that's a dangerous Klay for the NBA. If it's a guy who's just coming out there, just focus on getting shots. And then you have Luka and Kyrie breaking the defense down and kicking it to Klay on the corner. That is incredible. So it just seems like that's a great, perfect fit for what Klay Thompson brings to the table. And I've called this from the beginning. I want to see a Warriors-Dallas Mavericks playoff matchup. Like,
Might get it.
Like, I
might
want to
get
see
it.
Got it a couple
all
years
the
ago.
All
But
those
it was
Splash
different.
people going crazy at each other.
You might get it.
I mean, Kyrie
Splash cousins,
and
Splash
Klay
brothers.
with Luka.
With the way the Warriors are playing, you may see Phoenix and Kevin Durant. You may see Klay Thompson Tuesday night, but I think it'll be a celebration for Klay Kashaska. We've taken a lot of calls.
Absolutely.
The rhetoric has been a little nasty, but I
He's
think
one
for
of the
one
greatest
night,
players
exactly.
to ever put on a Warrior uniform. 11 will be in the rafters. There'll be some sort of a statue. I don't know if it'll be all of them together. I'm not sure how they're going to break that down. I mean, he's in a way, he's like the Dwight Clark of the Warriors in terms of how people relate to him and love him. He's an all-time legend.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things we talked about. Steph on court excellence, very similar with Klay Thompson.
Absolutely.
You know, one of the most dynamic shooters of all time. Easygoing.
Yes.
Look, this guy's a Hall of Fame player, and I remember years ago, Steve Kerr said he's not low maintenance; he's zero maintenance, zero. So easygoing, Southern California. I mean, the guy did everything the right way. He really did, and did it with joy. I think he let last few years let people into his life a little bit more, right? But he's true to himself. You know, he's not one of those guys trying to be on media. Clay's just Klay. When you talk to Klay, you know exactly where he's coming from. You know what he's feeling. Festus would know better than me. They were teammates. But I've watched his entire career. I think he's done it with class and grace and dignity, and has played at such a high level, still playing good basketball. We talked about Bonte all the time. You know, his last year, he averaged 18 points per game and shot 38% from the three.
Those are career numbers for most players.
Okay, so
That's a
and then,
max.
you know,
That's a
so
max right now
Yeah,
for a lot of
exactly.
people.
we've
Yes.
just talked a lot about
Look at Emmanuel Quickly's numbers.
we would put a roster together. You know, it's who you're playing with, who's beside you, what combinations you're with. Now, don't get it. You know, there's no confusion about the impact he's had on this organization and his impact when it's all said and done in the history of the NBA. So that's what's going to be celebrated. That's what should be celebrated. Anything else is just
Noise.
It's just what do they call it?
Unnecessary.
Yeah, we'll just leave it
Let's
at that.
leave it
It's
at that.
absurd.
Sir, fast five. We're running out of time. You guys got podcast-itis.
Say if you test me, you get basket.
How about that for a surprise, Shasky? How about that, huh?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I got to quit. I'm going to do both of you guys. Rapid fire. These are our final thoughts. Rapid fire. Best pizza in New York, Mullin.
John's Bleecker Street.
All right, well, I'll second that because he told me to go over there.
Says he
Best
went.
pizza locally.
Joe's here in North Beach.
Let's go. What about you, Mullin?
John's Bleecker Street.
Fast Five brought to you by Xfinity at home or on the go. You'll get the fastest internet to all your devices. Don't forget, buy your tickets at the CelebrityPickleballBash.com. $49 Celebrity Pickleball Bash at the iconic Warfield Theater, February 15th to 16th, All-Star Weekend. Mully, Brady Chastain, Hunter Pitts, Terrell Owens, more and more people. Jalen Brunson, Anthony Anderson, Eric Decker, Mario Lopez, and many other celebrities. Again, CelebrityPickleballBash.com. Tickets start at $49. Fellas, thanks so much for dropping by the studio. See you guys in a few hours.
Maybe me and
That's
Bonte
right.
over there
Maybe we'll
too.
get Shasky down
Thanks,
to TV.
Shasky.
Hey, Shasky, come join us.
I've been waiting for the call. I'm ready.
Get you on the telestrator?
I'm
Break
like
it down?
I'm like Austin Slater. I'm always in the on deck circle. I'm
You're
ready.
always on Do Not Disturb when I call you, man. You
That's
never pick up.
BS. That is.
You're in the bullpen? You need the golf cart to drive you in?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Guys, I'm out,
we
man.
know.
I'm ready.
I parked illegally. I just
I'm
came out
one
here.
phone call away.